Welcome back to the Marketing Madmen on Extra 106.3. We have flown through this, guys. Honestly, I appreciate it. We covered a lot. We're bobbing and weaving like we always are. So let's finish. Why don't you finish about the contrast therapy?
Yep.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to create some scenarios of various people that might come in certain circumstances. And I'm making these up, I promise. There's nothing written.
Yeah.
And let's give some answers. So giving people idea of where their brain's going of, oh, you know what? I didn't think of it that way. So finish on contrast therapy is your most popular. It is the one I think is the most appealing.
Yeah.
But finish up on that one and we'll get into it.
Yeah, and just so folks understand what contrast therapy is, it is essentially rotating between, a sauna, which is hot, and a cold plunge, which is cold, which is where the term
and we're not talking tepid. We're talking 104 degrees in a sauna.
Our sauna, we allow people to be able to set the temperature where they want it, but 150 or above is typically where people like to have that.
40-ish for the cold plunge.
The cold plunge is typically between 48 and 50 degrees.
Okay. So cold and hot. We're not going warm and kind of chilly. We're saying cold and hot.
That's right. And we give people a base protocol to follow, but we typically tell people to follow what feels good to you. So for me, that may be 8 minutes in the sauna, 2 minutes in the plunge, and just continuing that cycle. Yeah. Some people may want to do 40 minutes in the sauna and just end with cold. We typically like to tell people, figure out what works best for you and what you get the best reaction from.
Also, there's no win. If you go in there for 30 seconds, you know what? Good for you. Yeah. You've gotten the benefit because it is cold, right? Like
especially
that is
those
shock
first
therapy.
30 seconds, because the next time you do it, it will be easier. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Do it for a minute. No one's saying go in there.
But
like
everybody
LeBron
thinks
James
they fail. But they think they fail if they haven't made the 2-minute mark, if they weren't there for a minute. And so we just need to dispel that as well.
I'm going to guess. I'm not a scientist, but I'm going to guess because of what I know about saunas. It is better to stay in the sauna for longer. The longer you're in the sauna, the sweat that comes out of you, those things, the detoxification is more important. Even 30 seconds in the cold pool, especially after being hot, is probably good for your body, dilation and stuff like that. Yep. So, and I think that's important, the science that goes into this.
The science on cold is 11 minutes a week is about your target of what you want to get. Now, you can get there by doing, 11 sessions of a minute. You could do, spread it out how you want. But 11 minutes of cold is where the science typically says you're getting all the benefits of cold. And with sauna, sauna's a little bit different. The more you sauna, the more benefits you get.
Yeah, okay.
There's not necessarily a time frame, but the more you do it, the higher the benefit.
So I would come in, and the second I go in the sauna, I would have blaring heavy metal, the loudest music you've ever seen, because that's how I would regulate and I would breathe through it, because that's what I work out hard. And then I'd go to some like classical or jazz in the sauna to just chill me out. Yeah, that's how I would do it personally. Perfect. That is not based on science. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to set up a couple of scenarios of different people with different things, and I'm going to have the two of you make some recommendations as to what a good starting point would be. So let's start with the most obvious one. Okay. I start January and February completely clean without drinking. I cut a lot of stuff out of my diet, and it's awesome. By December, it all goes to crap because I just destroy my body because of what I do for a living. So I'm going to start in January. I will be 5 pounds heavier than I should be, but I will cut everything out quickly. I'll cut coffee out. I'll cut booze out. Yep. And I want something supplemental that will speed up the recovery process so I start feeling better quicker.
Yep.
Go.
So I'm going to put you in the sauna because let's detox all of the junk that you put into December.
So many toxins.
The drinking, the sugar. Let's put you in the sauna and get you in there on a consistent basis so you get the detoxification going for your body. I think that would be number one. And then I think, obviously, because of starting a new year, I think the mental clarity that comes with the cold plunge would also be great. So I would highly recommend contrast therapy.
So we're talking functional stuff.
Yep.
Those are the functional things. All right, Lisa, now I'm going to go to you. So similar story, except I got the biggest interview of my life in March, and my skin's now oily, and I got pimples because I've not been taking care of myself. And let's talk more of a cosmetic approach. What advice would you give there?
I do have to tell you, not to be long-winded, I would first ask you, tell me more about what you're looking for, because the obvious answer would be light therapy, right? Let's get you into light therapy. That is the gentlest form of detoxification, and it really helps you with wound and obviously acne, superficial wrinkles, all those things.
So the answer is I don't want to try hard and do any of the other stuff. I want you to miraculously fix me.
Listen, anything is because everything takes work. So no, but
at least if you're honest with me, I'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just be honest.
Everything, but it's not about hard. That's again because I don't want people to misconstrue what it is, right? And so no, that is not the hard. It is nice, and it's surprisingly so relaxing. That's what I found personally through the light therapy. What those benefits that
I did acupuncture once. It was actually relaxing. Yes. It was not as everyone was like, "Oh my God, you're going to be pinched." I'm like, "Yeah."
No, you barely feel it. Yeah. No, but red light is obviously going to be something that I would recommend. But I would also say sauna to detoxify your skin because all of that is because you're clogged and inflammation. Right. All of these things stem from the inside, and so you are helping your body heal itself.
Right. But I don't want to take personal accountability. I'm American, and I want you to fix my issues without taking any personal onus in all of this. All right. So I do have a couple more, but I have a question for you. The problem with these things is once science proves them, then Amazon goes nuts from China and everything's red light therapy. So how do you differentiate your red light therapy, which is based on science, and a mask from Xinjiang province in China that's coming over with COVID attached to it? Like, how do we differentiate these things? Because they're coming. Like, China's like, red light therapy.
They're
and they
here.
Just put a red light. Yeah. How do you fight those? How do you fight the people who are like, well, I can just buy that on Amazon?
Yeah. Well, I would first of all ask them to look at the very specific information on there. You're funny. My sister literally did that, right? So she's like, well, I'm just going to have one at home. And I said, okay, so what work have you done other than the name red light?
Northeasterners love a discount.
And so,
it's not as prevalent there, but up there, my God, if you see the Marshalls up there, here they're like sporadically thrown all over the place. Marshalls is like you can't even park at a Marshalls. Yeah. They love deals up there. Keep going, sorry.
But I would just say what distinguishes us is obviously the strength of the light and the spectrums of so we have infrared and now this is slipping my mind, infrared and what is in the red light, near infrared and infrared. Yes, there you go. And so you have those two lights working at the same time, and the strength that it gives you and the small amount of time. In addition to, it is full body. It is not just targeting your face, but it is helping you to reduce inflammation as a whole and repair. Like we said, wound repair, skin pigmentation, all of those things.
Yeah. And let me just add to that, Nick. So that's a good question because we do get that a lot. We have the best health tech in the world, period. And so, you do see on Amazon where you can go and get an LED mask or something for $50. The efficacy of that LED light, number one, is it the right frequency to penetrate your skin?
The answer is no. I can tell you
how close is it? What's the strength?
Is it even the right kind of light? Yeah. Is it even the right wavelength? Is it any of those things?
There's no comparison to an $80,000 LED bed, which you might see in a pause.
Yeah.
So there's really just no comparison. And so I think people should be really, really thoughtful about
that's your problem with TikTok, right? You put one influencer who's being paid by the Chinese to import these things in and put it out there, and they're promising all this stuff. So look deeper. Please read when institutions, how much work you guys went into setting this up.
Yep.
Those stores in China, they're not doing any of that stuff. They're plugging it into Amazon and shipping it with no ramifications for anything. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to set up one last one before we go. So same question, except now I am not in a public facing role as like a salesman or something. I'm a nerd and I'm just trying to get a job in a software. So I need mental clarity. Yeah. So what would I do for mental clarity? My appearance is not as important, so I need mental clarity. I need the brain fog that I have right now to dissipate and me to be ready.
Come in and flow. Come in and flow. I will say flow is, of all of our services, the one that's a little bit wonky because some people will love it immediately and some people it's going to take time. How many times are you completely deprived of your senses?
I have 2 little children, so 0.
Right. But even without children, you're not going to find that because there's constantly noise, light, something taking away from you. And so this allows you to take, it has 1,200 pounds of Epsom salt. So it's going to help you, number one.
So that's like floating in like the Black Sea, the Dead Sea.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And so it decompresses your spine. So you're going to get that weightlessness and then also help you with the mental clarity because that's the first time your brain is going to be allowed to enter theta state where that allows the magic to happen. You're going to feel much better rested.
That's going to be harder for me than the cryo because my own brain just goes.
That's absolutely right.
And to shut that off.
And which is why it says the trickiest. Sometimes
so we're going to leave it on that note, and I am now changing what I'm going to try, and I'm going to try that, and I will come back with my results. When this show launches, I'll come back with those results. So, Evan, Lisa, this has been awesome. I appreciate it. Check out Pause. How do they find you on socials? How do they find you?
Pause East Cobb on Instagram, pausestudio.com/East Cobb on the internet. We'd love to have you. Please reach out.
Awesome. You've been listening to the Marketing Madman on Extra 106.3, and we will catch you next week.